going on? So I got myself a couple of Akrapovic exhausts here for 2008, 2016 CBR 1000RR, and I had the Akra Evo, which is titanium, and the Akra Race, which is stainless. So I took the entire system, including the springs, including the rings, clamps, and the O2 sensor plugs, all of which are stainless, by the way, and weighed it all together. So what I ended up with is the stainless headers are 7.6 and the titanium headers are 5.1. So it's 2.5 pounds lighter for the titanium, which is good to know. Not a huge number, but you know, if you've already got everything else squeezed out of the bike, 2.5 pounds is a nice little bonus. The weight is down low and it's sprung weight, so it's not like high impact weight, but in terms of cornering and in terms of handling. But in terms of acceleration and deceleration, yeah, that's a tiny percentage. It's going to make a small improvement actually, just from weight. You know, if your bike is already really light, you can, you know, for example, when I took my catalytic converter and my stock muffler off, I saved 8 pounds, and when I jumped on the bike and rode out a driveway, I could feel that immediately. It wasn't it wasn't like a subjective, like I think I feel it. I felt it. It felt good. So it is, even though it's sprung weight, even though it's down low, it feels good to get weight off the bike. It just it works on dirt bikes, it works on bicycles, it works on motorcycles. Taking weight off the bike just wakes things up. It allows the suspension to work better, well, depending on if your spring rate's still in range, but if it's unsprung weight, it can help your suspension work better. It just makes the bike, I don't know, maybe especially for somebody like me, I'm 145 pounds. You know, if you're a bigger, stronger guy, maybe, you know, the bike feels lighter in your hand than it feels in mine. But for me, getting a bike lightened up just helps just wake it up and make it feel just right. You know, they say light is right. So anyways, that's 2.5 pounds. The carbon canister without the quiet insert is 2.48. Titanium canister is 2.79. So the carbon is 0.3 pounds lighter. And so if you pair these two together, you get 7.7 pounds. And then pair the stainless with the titanium, you get 10.48 pounds. That's a difference of 2.78 pounds. So this system weighs 2.78 pounds less, all in all. And I didn't include the quiet insert on those numbers. I don't plan on using it. I don't think this exhaust is going to need it, but if it's, you know, really, the CBR 1000R is not a loud, annoying bike, so. But if it does turn out to be just a little too much racket for the neighborhood, I will put this in with no worries. So, you know, one of the reasons, here's something that's interesting. According to what I read, the stock headers for this bike, which are mild steel, are 6.25 pounds. So that's actually significantly lighter than the stainless, thin wall stainless headers, 7.6 pounds. So I think the reason for that primarily is the springs. You know, the stock headers obviously don't need these springs to be held together, and these weigh about, I think it's like 300 grams. So you're talking like 3/4 of a pound right there. And it's the same on both, whether it's the Evo or the Race. You got 3/4 of a pound of springs on the exhaust to hold it together, where stock doesn't have to deal with that. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, you may be gaining some power obviously with this system as well, so it's going to make up for any increase in weight in a big way in terms of acceleration. But that only works for acceleration, and it only works probably at high RPM. At every other situation that you possibly have that bike in your hands, added weight, it hurts things. Makes your braking and your tire wear, your fuel mileage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, your cornering, your suspension, everything has to work harder if you add weight. So that's something that's pretty unexpected, pretty interesting, good to know. The stock exhaust, the total system is 20.25 pounds. It's 14 pounds in the cat and the muffler, 6.25 pounds in the headers. So by going this route with this system here, you're actually going to be saving, you're going to be going from 20.2 pounds down to 7.7, and you're going to save 12.5 pounds total by doing that. So that's a nice little bonus. I've already put a slip on that saved me right off the bat, saved me 8 pounds. So when I go to this route, I'll be saving another 4.5 pounds on top of that. So that's pretty exciting. You know, because the titanium inside this canister, you know, is significantly lighter than my FMF slip-on, and because my FMF has an S bend, and this is just the racing style, you're reducing more steel again. So my total savings will be 4.5 pounds in addition to the 8 that I already saved. So that's pretty exciting. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to feel 4.5 pounds. I felt the 8, like I said, when I rolled out of the driveway, I could feel 8 pounds, so that's pretty cool. Something else I wanted to mention too was that in regards to the carbon versus the titanium canister, I actually really prefer the carbon, not only for being lighter, but also for being more damage resistant. You know, if you drop something and make a little tiny dent on this canister anywhere, it's gonna jump out at you because of your eye is just gonna be drawn to that dent. Whereas the carbon, if you have a little bit of damage, like your eye's not going to be drawn to it. It's probably more damage resistant than the titanium as well. Titanium is really strong, but you know, if they wanted to use a really thick titanium here, it's going to add weight for no reason. Although maybe it does actually help with sound a little bit. It would be interesting to know in terms of decibels the difference between these two, because usually when you're trying to get rid of like a low frequency noise, it's about mass. So these, you know, may actually be louder than this because there's less mass here on the sidewall than there is here. And because of titanium being on the inside here, it has less mass than stainless. So it'll be interesting to see if this canister is louder than my FMF. I'm guessing it probably will be. And it's nice that they include this quad insert because I ride in residential areas and I don't want all my neighbors to be hunting me and wanting me dead. So like I said, the 1000 is not a very loud bike in general. It's not a loud, annoying bike like a 600 is. My 600RR with the carbon or two brothers was absolutely obnoxious in my opinion. So I put the little aluminum insert in the tail to try to quiet it down. It did quiet it down nice and made it more reasonable. But it was still, I mean, if you want to beat on a 600, like you're going to be up 10,000 RPMs plus. There's no two ways about it, and you're going to be raising hell. So. You know, in the 1000, it's like you can almost have your fun a little more stealthy. You don't have to make such a racket to do it. So hopefully I won't have to use a quad insert, but if I do, no big deal. I've seen dynos that show that it doesn't really hurt your power that much. That's good news. But anyways, yeah, so that's something interesting to note. Difference in weight here, the difference between a titanium and a stainless, and the difference between stainless and stock mild steel. Those are all really interesting numbers. I'll post all the data in the description, all the actual grams for these parts and whatnot. And you know, I found this on Craigslist for $800, and I found this system on eBay for $1,100 brand new. You know, I actually spent 4 hours polishing these to get them to look nice and clean. I don't know why. They're just going to get messed up again, but now I'm going to be selling this as a group. I'm going to keep this setup and then sell this setup. So I guess it's a good thing I did take the time to polish it, try to get my money back. But all right, well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, post them up. If you have any suggestions too, thank you.